This video will have a look at adding and subtracting matrices where we have three or more matrices that we are adding and subtracting. The matrices can be added and subtracted together using the same rules as normal arithmetic. You need to be aware though that matrices can only be added and subtracted if they have the same order. So that means they need to have the same number of rows and the same number of columns. So if you've got a matrix with 2 rows and 2 columns, and another matrix with 3 rows and 3 columns, those two matrices cannot be added together. They've got to have the same number of rows and the same number of columns. So if you have two matrices with the same order, so the same number of rows and columns, then to add and subtract, all you do is add or subtract the numbers in the corresponding positions in both matrices. So in our example, we would add A and E together, and that would become our first number in our added matrices. Then you would add B and F together, and that would become our second number in our new matrix. Then we can continue adding C and G, and then finally D and H. So after we have added or subtracted our matrices together, we then have a new matrix. That is the final result. So let's now have a look at an example where we are dealing with three or more matrices. So in our example, we want to evaluate the following, and you can see that we have got three matrices. The first two matrices we are adding together, then we want to subtract the third. So first we need to make sure that we've got the same order in each of our three matrices. So all three matrices consist of 3 columns and 2 rows, so they have an order of 2 times 3, so we can complete the operation. We wouldn't be able to complete it if they didn't have the same order. So when we are adding and subtracting matrices, the normal arithmetic rules apply, so we will be able to add the first two, then subtract the third matrix. So when we are combining our matrices by adding and subtracting them, we're going to end up with a new matrix, and that is going to have the same order as our original ones. So it's going to be 2 times 3, or 2 rows and 3 columns. And when we go to complete the operation, we look for the number in each corresponding spot in each of the three matrices. So first we'll start off with 11, 2, and -2. And we are going to do 11 plus 2, and then minus -2. Then we'll look at the second number in the first row in each of our matrices. So we got 6, 8, and -1. So our next operation is going to be 6 plus 8 minus -1. And then continuing on, the next lot is going to be 9, 8, and 10. So it'll be 9 plus 8, and then minus 10. And then completing the same for our second row. So it will be 7 plus 6 minus 4, 12 plus 7 minus 9, and finally -1 plus 6 minus -3. So now we can go ahead and prepare our final matrix and complete each of those operations. So 11 plus 2 minus -2 is going to equal to 15. 6 plus 8 minus -1 also equals 15. 9 plus 8 minus 10 is going to equal 7. And then moving on to the second row, 7 plus 6 minus 4 is going to equal 9. 12 plus 7 minus 9 is going to equal 10. And -1 plus 6 minus -3 is going to equal 8. So that is our final matrix when we are adding and subtracting three matrices together. You could follow the same process for more than 3, as long as you have the same order in each of those individual matrices.